is precious. It is also incredibly fragile. Without water, life cannot survive. Water is a valuable commodity and should be used sparingly. Water features and lawn sprinklers are aesthetically attractive. Anyone who likes the sound of running water and the sight of lush lawns would believe that there is an abundance of water, especially underground. Large organizations and many individuals use water non-stop, day in and day out. The supply of underground water is finite, and we can only assume that these people who use water with such irresponsible abandon don't care that the underground water table is diminishing at an unprecedented rate. Water to keep lawns looking pretty. Water to play in. Water to keep the suburbs of Mabatu and Mafeking with their attractive pools looking lush and affluent. Millions of average city dwellers can walk into their kitchen, turn on a tap and be certain of unlimited clean, fresh drinking water. A short distance from this luxury, millions of people could face a slow death from starvation as watercourses turn to dust and thousands of hectares of crops are laid waste following the failure of the vital summer rains. Virtually the entire southern African region is reeling in what could be the most devastating drought this century. Huge numbers of large and small livestock have perished, each one representing an investment of time and money that will never be recovered. Windmills labor in vain to fill up watering points for cattle, whilst dilapidated windmills try valiantly to supply underground water. Our underground water is plentiful. Is it? Many watering points have long since dried up. There just is no water. Livestock trek many, many kilometers for water. Long, compacted paths are clear from the air, showing the distances livestock have to walk for hopefully a little water. Grazing for these animals is non-existent. Smaller livestock may obtain slight nourishment from thorn shrubs, and a desert situation is clearly evident. Water is precious and never taken for granted in these rural areas. If they are fortunate, a single tub of water is used to do the washing for a family of 5. Complete desolation is a grim sight. Thousands of hectares of prepared soil lie unplanted due to the lack of the summer rains. Cracked, dry earth, which was once a marshland, indicate that water supplies are dead. Dried up riverbeds, watercourses and dams provide no more. The state of the main reservoirs in Botswana are pitifully low, and many smaller dams have totally dried up. Overgrazing and overstocking, plus poor management, has left the land a dust bowl, and livestock are taken anywhere to find a little grazing. Motorists must keep a lookout for livestock which often roam the sides of roads looking for something to eat. Livestock auctions are being held in many areas of Botswana, and farmers are encouraged to sell off their excess stock while they are in a reasonable condition and can get a realistic price. With a surplus of meat in the market, it remains to be seen whether prices will drop. Indications are that prices for red meat will not. Many of these animals, which are unproductive and very thin, will fetch very little at an auction as they are no longer carrying any meat. Here at least the farmer will get something for his livestock, whereas many thousands of animals are in such poor condition that they would probably not survive the trek to the auction. They will probably be turned out to fend for themselves. Last year, Southern Africa was fortunate in having good rains during the summer and bumper crops were realized. In contrast, this year was a complete disaster. Maize, groundnuts and sunflowers had no chance of survival. Some larger farming concerns had the machinery to salvage maize and converted their crop to silage for feed during the winter months. Elsewhere, everything points to a desperate shortage of fodder for the winter. Many summer crop farmers are going to lose their farms, which will mean the closure of the agricultural cooperatives and a rising unemployment rate. Many rural communities will become ghost towns as small businesses die from lack of support. It's a domino effect, and one which will eventually affect even the city dweller with his comfortable and well-cushioned lifestyle. And it's going to affect you. 1 million or more farm laborers will be flooding the cities. Even now, the rising crime rate and overcrowding in the cities bear witness to the desperate struggle for fuel, water and food. Survival. Drought is an inherent part of the Southern African climate. We need to conserve our water. The supply of water under the ground is finite. The hundreds of boreholes which keep the gardens a blaze of color are slowly but inevitably lowering the water table. And one day, they'll just run out. 20 minutes away from this, people are queuing for this. We have to conserve the water that is left. We have to keep our country alive. And you have to play your part. Otherwise, it will be too late for all of us.